Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Now today has been a long awaited video request from Mimi. Now Mimi has set me rather a scary challenge, which was to do myself up like J-lo and Tati, the Scott Barnes glowy contoured look. And I've got to admit, I'm quite scared. Now, what I want to make clear, first of all, a couple of things. I'm not going to presume to copy Scott Barnes. He's a very talented artist. But I'm going to use some of his concepts and ideas. And one concept that we do share is pigment, which I love. That's what I absolutely love. And how he says you don't need 600 products. I love that. So he's all about pigment, so I love it. So I'm going to use his concepts. I'm going to do as best job as I can. Now, the other thing is I've deliberately worn this top because obviously when you look at the Tati video, which I will link below, he has Tati in a kind of off the shoulder top, so you can do kind of the sculpting. Now you probably notice, and I don't care anymore. I used to be a bit self-conscious about this, not bothered anymore, but just letting you know, you probably noticed that my shoulders are not very even, and that's because I've got scoliosis, which is posh Latin for a curvature of the spine. So you can see here I've got a bit of a hunchback, for want of a better word, which is not, that's not being very kind to myself, is it? So I'm not going to say hunchback, but you can see that my shoulders are not that even. But let's see, because I was just doing this morning and thinking, actually, I could perhaps cheat where I don't have that dip there and I have it that side because of my odd shoulders. I might be able to cheat something with a bit of sculpting. So we will see. But as you can see, I just wanted to point that out because obviously I'm not going to get that kind of sculpted look on the chest that Tati achieves on her video. But we will do our best. And of course, Tati is a lot younger than me. But I'm not going to put myself down. I'm just going to keep, I know I keep doing it, making excuses. I'm going to stop making excuses and we're going to get on with this video. Now, before I start, this is a very, very glowy, full-on look. And obviously, I am quite a bit older than J-lo and Tati. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is I'm not going to use exactly the same products as he did, but I think the main thing about this look is glow. And so I'm going to use this glow plexion and I'm going to put it also on my chest. What I do have that Tati didn't have, let's think of the positives. I do have the olive J-lo complexion that I don't have to add as much pigment to pull off a tanned glowy look. So there you go. There's me being positive about myself. But I'm going to go to town using this glow plexion. My eyes are a bit watery today, so I am going to leave the eyes until the last, which he does actually on his video. I'm going to just really go to town. Can you see how glowy it makes you look? But not in a really glittery way. I'm sure if Scott Barnes tried this, he'd love it. Now, I do have the Scott Barnes body bling somewhere. Can't find it, but I do have it because I was sent it for free by Beauty in the Boutique, but I think it's stored away somewhere. But I do have another product that he used on the video, which is going to come in very handy. So I'll let you see that in a minute. So that's the glow plexion on my face, and I'm going to make sure I get some of this on my chest. I've taken my necklace off, as you can see, and I've got to be a bit careful because I've got my pain patch there and I can't get anything oily near that or it will fall off and then I'll be in pain. And where will we be? I won't look very glowy then, I can tell you. Right, so you can see it actually does look lovely on. I've never put this on the décolleté, but look at it. Look at that side compared to that. It does really work quite well, this stuff. And it's quite similar to body bling, except it probably doesn't have the pigment to make you sort of tanned. But we'll get around that. Okay, so this is just to get a real glow going on. I'm not going to worry too much about sunscreen because that's going to come in a while. Okay, now he doesn't use primer. I mean, you could say that this is a primer. He just goes then straight in with the contouring. So I'm just going to grab some brushes that are similar to the ones that he used, and I'll be right back. Okay, when he started to apply the highlighter to the face, he said that J-lo called this brush that he used a cat's paw. And I think this one looks like it might do the job. This is from my Luxie brushes, and it's called a large fluff brush. And I'm going to use my MAC Pro Conceal and Correct palette to start doing some sculpting. So I'm going to take a very light shade, this one at the top here, well, light for me, and I'm going to start placing that highlighter in all the places that he did. So we're getting to, so the idea is that you start to do your contour before your highlighter so that it will pop through, and then you take it up. This is so, actually this contour, taking it up is such a good idea when you're older because it really gives your eyes a lift. Okay. It does actually feel like a cat's paw. I may go a bit brighter in a minute, we'll see. And then of course he does the J-lo highlighter. I'm going to mix some of this yellow because I think that doesn't look light enough. We want to really get the light under the foundation. Yeah, that's better. Because this has got to pop through the foundation you put. And then, now, I've got to remember what he did. So he did this highlighter here, but he also did it here and down for the nose sculpt. This does remind me of when we used to do stage makeup, when I did my stage makeup training, because we used to play with light and stuff. This is so like the stage makeup stuff. And then he said to bring the chin forward because it adds to the angular look on the face. Right, and then we need to get going with the highlighting of the chest. So if I follow where the natural light is, I can't remember exactly where he put all of this, but if I just follow where the light hits on my clavicle, I might need to cheat this a little bit so that I'm not actually accentuating my oddness. Mind you, we could just celebrate our oddness, couldn't we? I'm sure plenty of people have got odd shoulders. And then you can see that the light sort of goes down there. And then where you've got the dips, you've got your sculpt. So if I do this, I might just be able to hide some of that. Okay, and of course then there's the under highlight. and top of the eyes. Looking crazy enough for you yet, guys? Now I'm going to get a sculpting brush, and I'll be right back. Oh, hang on a minute. He also, no, I need a smaller brush, because he did do a bit of a highlight around here, and then he did a contour, but we'll do that in a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I was looking for a chiseling. Now this one is a little bit thick for my liking, but I can always squeeze it together. So this is the flat contour brush, and I'm now going to use the Huda Beauty Tantour as my chiseling out shade. So I'm going to take it in all the areas where I want to do myself a contour. Like that. And then of course, all the way around. And then of course, we really want to get something very, very, I've got around the chin. It's not as sharp as J-lo or Tati, but we'll try and make the best of what we have. Now what I tend to do, and this is all about adapting it for your face shape, because I've got slightly rounded off chin and we want something a bit pointy, I always do this when I'm contouring, because again, if you highlight in the center there, and then you've got that each side down into a bit of a triangle, it's going to make my chin look a bit more pointy. And then what we want to do is take this down here. I really wish this was thinner. I might have to get another brush in a minute. And I'm just looking at where the natural shadows fall and just accentuating them. And what I'm going to do here is try and replicate what's on that side, so it kind of balances out. I'm putting one where there isn't one here, so that it kind of looks like I've got even shoulders, even though I haven't. And then if I do that, can you see I'm trying to just hunch up a little bit so that I can draw in the anatomy. See, like that. So it's all about following. I've got to take a photo of this. I'll be right back. Right, photo taken. So it's all about following the natural contour. Now I can't leave it like that. Now what he does next, oh, I need to just do that little sculpt around my nose. And I've got a little sculpting brush for that. And this is my nose sculpting brush. And this is from the JD Wadey collection. And I'm just going to take this and remembering to join it up. I'll take another picture and I'll be right back. Now, one thing I haven't done is I just want to get a little bit of darkness going on there, just to further highlight what's going on in the middle. Right, I think that's me suitably contoured. You did ask for this. And I'm now going to get a brush similar to the one that he used when he started to kind of blend out what he was doing. He took a fresh brush and he started to blend out his work before he applied the foundation. So let's do that next. Okay, he used a brush very similar to this, I think. So I'm just going to start dotting this about. This is one of those that's kind of, it's got the white on the end and it's got the, so it doesn't, the bit that blends is underneath, it's not at the tip. And so I'm just going to start dotting and blending this in so it doesn't look so severe. I'm really glad actually, Mimi, I know I've been joking about it, but I'm really glad that you challenged me to do this because it is a great challenge and I'm glad that I've taken the leap. I just hope it turns out okay, but so far it's taking me back to those days where we did stage makeup, definitely, because this was all that we did. It was all about making yourself look larger than life on stage and defining features. So it really is taking me back. I'm just going in first of all with the bits that I've contoured first. And I might take another brush for the highlighter bits because I don't want to start lightening up where I've highlighted. So I'm just literally stippling to just blend it in without moving it too far. And he gave a really good tip, by the way, which is something I've said before, which is when you're contouring your nose, don't start blending the brown down because then it has the opposite effect to what you want to achieve. You should blend it up, which is why I'm always telling you to pinch your nose when you're contouring your nose. What I probably should have done, I can do it now, is just take a little bit of that highlighter, I don't know if I did this, and just okay, right, so now I've got another stippling brush which I'm going to actually I'm just going to clean this one off because I think this one should be okay, and then I'm just going to start stippling around the highlighted areas. I'm not touching the nose bit yet, quite deliberately. My eye's starting to water, guys. Sorry, that's messed it up a little bit because my eye's watering. Never mind. I'm just going to pat that bit with my finger. Try and move it out. And just add a little bit more with my finger where my eye has watered. Right, and then I'm going to take for the nose sculpt, I've got a blending brush here, little chiseling on the other side of the brush that I used is a kind of blending one. I'm just going to blend those two bits together there, like so, and then I'm going to take this and we want to do this. So I'm sweeping it up. And then I'm just, that little bit that I put to highlight the top of my eyes, I'm just going to blend with my fingers. Please stop watering, eye. Please stop watering. Okay, so next on in, I'm going to go in with just making sure it's all blended out nicely. I'm going to go in with my foundation. Before I do that, I nearly forgot something. The sculpting around the lip area. So what he did with that was he took a little brush. So I'm going to use the nose one. And he took following where your shadow naturally forms. And then I'm just cleaning that brush off. And then underneath that, he went in with a lighter shade. This is going to immediately make the lips look fuller. Okay, and now I need to blend that out. I'm going to use a little smaller stippling brush for that. I'm dropping everything here. And then I'm just going to use my fingers where the highlighter bit is. Just trying not to get too much of that dark there. Okay, right, now definitely foundation. Okay, I'm using Charlotte's foundation and I've put 2 pumps because obviously I'm going to need to put this on my chest as well. And I need to start stippling this over the skin. Being careful not to move any of that contour underneath. Now I'm going to start sweeping because obviously this is a larger area. And I just used shade 8 today, not shade 8, sorry, the warm shade. Because obviously, now can you see how much pink I've got in my complexion? Because I haven't done my eyes yet. I'll just do a little dab over my eyes. I don't like to put too much of this, otherwise it starts to make my eyes water. Right, the rest I can even out with bronzer. I'm going to put some more concealer on. And I'm going to use the same palette and I'm going to put this on now. I'm going to dab this on with my fingers. I'm going to use a more neutral shade this time, which is going to brighten a bit more under the eyes. The yellow kind of got rid of any darkness, and now I'm lightening under the eyes. And I'm going to use a bit of this lighter one as well to really brighten up under the eyes. I've started to use my fingers, which is not Scott Barnes, but forgive me. And I'm just going to do another little bit of sculpting over the top of that before I do my powder and my blush. Okay, now I'm going to do some cream blush, and I'm going to use Charlotte's Colour of Passion, and I'm going to just dot this in with my fingers and build up the colour. Because I'm going to put some powder over this, I'm going to build it up quite a bit. And what I like to do is just warm up the top of my head like that, because it just also makes it look like, that is part of her complexion. Her cheeks are meant to be that colour. That's naturally there in her skin tone, okay? Now, then the next thing he talked about was using a powder with a pink undertone to get rid of some of the yellowness in the foundation, which, as you know, I've talked a lot about. So I'm going to use Charlotte's Airbrush Flawless powder, but I'm going to use it in shade 1. And that's going to cancel out a bit of the yellowness that we've put there with all our contouring. So I'll do that next. Okay, so big brush, and again, I'm going to pat. I'm going to use some powder. Now, I think he uses cream, again, on top of the foundation as a sculpt shade. I think I'm going to use Charlotte's contour one, because I've got enough cream on my face and it is starting to feel quite heavy. Now, next I'm going to do the bronzer, and I'm going to use Charlotte's Airbrush bronzer. So this is shade 3. No, it's not. I've got shade 2. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm now taking the bronzer, and of course, J-lo looks very tanned. And I think this Airbrush bronzer will work beautifully. It's going to even out all of this. Right, and then, now that I've done all the sort of powdery bits, I'm then going to take a product that he actually used on his video with Tati, and it is a sunscreen, and I dug it out. I'd forgotten I had it until I saw the video, and it gives you the most fantastic glow. So I'm just going to get that. So this is it. It's called Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Body Mist Sunscreen, 100 plus, but it gives you a gorgeous glow. So I'm just going to... Now, can you see that glow going on? Right, I'm going to let that dry down for a minute, and then I'm going to do my sculpting wand to really sculpt my cheeks out and really give me the J-lo glow and sculpt, and then we'll get on with the eye makeup and finish off with the lips. And I hope you're still watching. Okay, so next on in, I'm going to use a Hollywood contour wand. And then the Beauty Light wand. I will put some powder over this as well. I'm going to add a little bit more of the bronzer to my chest because I'm looking too shiny now, or I might just get, I just feel that's too shiny. I'll probably put on a bit too much of this, but that's fine. We can always take away shine. So I might actually, there's a spray that mattifies that I might put on in a second. I love it, but it's too shiny for me. I'm looking a bit like the Tin Man now. What I'll do is I'll put the bronzer on in shade 1 over the top. And actually he did that on the chest in his video. He put that on and then he put a shimmering bronzer over the top. So it kind of dried it down a little bit, which is probably why he did it. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. I'll show you what I did. I'm just taking some butter bronzer because it's got a slight sheen in it still. It's just going to dry down what I've done. Okay, now I'm going to do eyes and lips and we're done. And I hope you enjoy this. Right, let's get going with the eyes and the lips. Now I was going to put on Walk of Shame because that's what I was wearing yesterday, but then I saw Queen of Glow and I thought, who is more Queen of Glow but J-lo? So now what he did was very simple. He only used really a couple of shades on the eyes, and he just firstly started off by taking a very dark shade and contouring into the socket like so, and then blending that out, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to follow the shape of my eyes still. So I'm going to do this. Because he was all about following the shape and making the most of your individual eye shape. There's no point just copying somebody exactly when somebody's got completely different face shape. So he did this first, and he set down the shade. And I'm sorry, but this eye is really watering. It's really getting on my nerves now, but we'll keep going. And I'm going to take that underneath. So he, apart from the highlighter at the top, he used 2 shades on the eyes, which is what I'm going to do, I think. Right, and then he just started to blend it out. So I'm just going to get a blending brush, like so, and really blend this contour out. I'm having to just leave this because it's just getting really out of hand at the moment. Okay, and so he did that. It was very simple, the eye look. And then he just took his finger, and I'm going to take the pop shade of Queen of Glow, and he just Now, I'm not doing false lashes. My eyes can't take it, guys. But you're going to have to imagine the false lashes today, I'm afraid. This is the Queen of Glow palette, and it's actually quite a similar 2 shades to the ones he used on Tati. For highlighting, I'm going to use the prime shade under there. Right, and now I'm going to put some black liquid liner on, and I'm going to use my La Roche-Posay because my eyes are very sensitive, and I shall be right back. Okay, now what he did with the brow was really interesting actually, because he actually used a shade that was quite light. He said he doesn't go in for these really sort of perfect drawn on ombre brows. So I'm using my brow shade, which is taupe. It actually is that shade. So it's a lot lighter than it, but he just uses it to fill in. And he said it just looks a lot better, and I agree. And this is actually sold as a universal shade. So I can vouch, ladies, that if it works for my shade of brow, then it's going to work for all of you. So that's my brows done. And now I'm going to finish off with my lips. Okay, now for the lips, what he did is he used a kind of nude shade. I'm going to use Super Size Me. He didn't fill them in. He just lined the lips. And he didn't do the Cupid's bow. He drew a cross like that, which makes your lips look slightly fuller. And then he used a lip gloss. And I'm going to use Pat McGrath's Naked Rose. Now it needs to be more nude than that. So I will start again on my lips. I'll be right back. Okay, this one will definitely be better. And this is Fenty's Gloss Bomb. And then to finish off, one last little touch is I want to use some highlighter. I know I've got plenty of highlighter already, but it's J-lo. Okay, and for that final highlight, I'm going to use Charlotte's Magic Star Highlighter. And I think I'm going to spray the brush. So hold on a second. Okay, here we go. And that, everyone, is my J-lo look. I shall take a photo. I better put a bit more concealer under this eye. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm not quite J-lo. I'm not quite Scott Barnes, but this is me, half a century Ali, with the J-lo look. I hope you've enjoyed it. And thank you, Mimi, for the request. No more, please. No, I'm just joking. Okay, see you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.